Welcome to Monthly Math Moment, the web series where we take a quick peek into the modern elementary classroom. I'm your host, Amanda McIntyre. As adults, there are so many things that we have memorized that are challenging for children and take a while to become automatic. In this series of episodes, we're going to take a look at some of the skills and strategies that students learn while they're becoming automatic in the basics. Let's start at the beginning with counting. If you're around my age, you may be able to sing the numbers 1 through 12 with the image of a pinball machine going around in your head. Thanks, Sesame Street. The number song goes through your head with all the numbers in the correct order, but there's no actual value or meaning attached to them. Students start their journey around the age 3 with a similar type of thing called rote counting. Rote counting is like the song because they are saying the numbers in the correct order, but there's no meaning. Having a stable order of numbers is an important skill for students because they can only count as high as the numbers that they know. At this starting point, with no quantities attached to the words, children may be playing with objects. They may be able to say which one has more than the other, but you'll notice whenever they count the objects, they're saying more than one word as they're touching or manipulating things. The result is often that children who are rote counting say that every group of objects has the highest number that they're able to count to. Once students have a clear understanding of the order of number words, then they start to assign these words to specific things, which is called one-to-one correspondence. This transition into one-to-one correspondence typically happens in the preschool years, with children saying a word every time they either touch an object or a picture. During this stage, children are building their understandings of quantities and how much is in a group. It often looks like students moving objects or marking pictures so that they only count things once in the group and can keep track of what they have counted. While students are building their one-to-one correspondence, they start to do what is called rational counting, or some teachers may call it cardinality. Cardinality is the understanding that the last number word you say is the number of objects in a set. It takes a while to get there, but children who have solid cardinality after they count are able to answer the question, how many are there? Most of this growth is typically done in the preschool years, around 3 or 4 years old, with children exploring their environment or if they go to preschool. But many children entering kindergarten are still working on those cardinality skills. At the beginning of kindergarten, the students start expanding their understanding of quantities by working on numbers to 10, because they have 10 fingers, along with the conservation of numbers. Conservation is the understanding that the number of objects in a group or in a set do not change when we move them around. That you can count objects in any order and you will still end up with the same amount. This is a lot of learning going on before students ever even come into the classroom. And so let's pause here for a moment and take a look at it in action. While you watch this kindergarten student, see if you can spot the one-to-one correspondence she's using, rational counting, and the conservation of numbers. Can you touch and tell me how many cubes are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So how many are there?
9.
There are 9. I noticed you counted the yellow first and then the red. What if you counted the red first and then the yellow? How many would there be?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So how many are there?
9.
Still 9? Okay, ready? I'm going to ask you one more question. How many cubes are there now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Are there still 9 cubes? How come there are still 9 cubes?
Because You didn't add any more or take away.
A lot is going on in this time. While students are in this stage, it's important for families to practice saying orders of numbers, even if they're not attached to objects, and to get things in students' hands, just as you saw that student touching and saying the names of the numbers. Along with all of this, there is another important skill that is growing in parallel called subitizing. Subitizing is the ability to look at a set of objects, typically less than 5, and be able to say how many there are without counting each one. You do this often if you play board games, every time you roll the dice and you know how many to go without counting each dot. Subitizing can be a useful skill, particularly towards the end of kindergarten, when students are starting to learn to add and subtract, so that the student doesn't have to go back to 0 every time. As verbal counting patterns grow, students in kindergarten learn to write their numbers, starting with 0 to 10 right at the beginning of kindergarten, and expanding writing their numbers all the way to 20 by the end of kindergarten. They also expand their verbal counting pattern up to 100 and practice counting by tens. For a deeper dive into this progression of learning how to count, check out the resources I put in the description below. There are some wonderful videos and ways to practice with your student at home, no matter where they are in this progression of learning. Next month, we're going to take a look at kind of a hot topic, the basic addition and subtraction facts. Many of us learned them just by memorization, but in today's world, we give the students strategies while they're practicing becoming automatic. So we'll take a look at those in next month. Until then, thank you for tuning in to this month's Math Moment.